Okay, guys, so we have right here the Jaden Yugi Cosmo Neos Perfection. We're gonna do some test hands. Thinking about cutting the Absolute Zero when we get the Voltic Thunder, but for now, Absolute Zero is in the list. So we literally just want to check out some test hands and see. Oh my god, Pot of Greed feels so good to resolve. That is insane. Like, just look at that starting hand. That is nuts to see Pot of Greed. And then, like, I mean, obviously, okay. So the Mulcharmies are not high, like, on the list. Like, they don't have a high, what's the word? Like, a value. They don't have a high value. So, I mean, your opponent will probably have at least Mulcharmy and maybe Ash, but like Ash is 45. To play 3 copies of Ash is 45 points. Like, these test, could you? Oh my god, these test hands. These test hands against an opponent who's probably not. You're not going to be able to be decked out with hand traps. That is kind of one thing that I really do love about this format is you're not going to be decked out with hand traps, which is like insane. So Infinite Impermanence is at 15. Ash Blossom is at 15. Droll is at 7. I believe the Mulcharmies at current time of making this video. Foolos is at 7. Perulia is at 10. Why is that should be I feel like that should be flip flop. Um this is gonna be an FTK format. Oh my god. Like, dude, every one of these hands so far is able to facilitate Cosmo Neos, and then you have Pot of Greed, and then you don't have a lot of hand traps in the format. Like, this is insane, guys. Cosmo Neos might actually be like a sleeper in this format. I mean, like real talk, this might be a sleeper. Like, because your opponent's not going to be able to open up Ash. Statistically, mathematically, your opponent is not even going to be able to play a playset of Ash, Valor, and Imperm. So when you take your turn, like, you're going to actually be able to probably play the game. Your opponent is probably only going to be able to have 1 to 2 hand traps in their deck, which is nuts. And you're going to be able to just pop off. This is going to be such an FTK format because this is what I've cooked up. This is what I think is probably a good starting point. I mean, this is basically just my list that I've made over the years with Cosmo Neos, um, plus Pot of Greed. Like, what? This is gonna be insane. I cannot wait to actually test this against like other decks. I mean, I don't even know what other decks could be like really good in this format. I mean, look. Okay, so I obviously activated that first, but since we saw the fusion deployment is a anti hand trap card that costs $0 to play. Sorry, 0 points to play. So you go fusion deployment, you get out into Aqua Dolphin. So we're basically playing Called by the Grave without playing Called by the Grave because Called by the Grave costs, I think, 20 points. So if you go fusion deployment and they ash that, you're set. I mean, they're probably not going to have any other hand traps to do anything. Like, just starting with this is absolutely nuts. But then having Pot of Greed on top of it to draw 2 more cards is just like, now this hand right here. I'm gonna say this hand probably doesn't make it because if you go into that, but I mean, you could still make a pretty like decent end board because you're gonna have the favorite contacts. You're gonna at least be able to go, probably Shining Neos Wingman. which isn't the best, but like, oh my god, these hands are crazy for this format. Like the only problem with fusion deployment is the hero lives, but I mean, just looking at the totals, your opponent is probably going to prioritize Ash over Droll. Like Droll is probably going to be relegated to the side deck in this format for a good bit of decks. I don't think that this is going to be a main Droll type of format. I could be wrong that Ash could become a side deck card and then Droll becomes the main like hand trap. I don't know. I don't know yet. We don't have any data. We have like nothing to go on. But so you make this, and then you slap down fusion deployment to basically cement your plays. Take a look at your opponent's hand, and I mean that's pretty much that. Like this is insane. Like if this deck, like this deck right now, with the last support being I think 2022, looks insane to me because I mean you have how many two? We don't have any one card combos. You have how many insane 2-card Cosmo Neos combos plus Pot of Greed. I'm sorry, I'm gushing over Pot of Greed. I'm not trying to glaze that card as much as I am, but dude, it's Pot of Greed. Like, and it's playable at 3. It's like Konami had the foresight when they made this deck. They were like, all right, make engage and then lock you into fusions. Because we never really integrated a lot of links in this deck besides Wonder Driver. So like this is it. I mean, unless you play like Dread Decimator or at least I never played anything other than Wonder Driver in this deck. Like, I mean, you could play Infernal Devicer to search the two Neospacians, but you don't even need that if you have how many like 2-card combos here. Like you have an insane amount of 2-card combos that you don't really even need to worry about running this card in any way, shape, or form. It's like just not even worth running, especially not now because you can't. Even Dread Decimator, like this card was never get like Cross Crusader will never be run in a deck like this because it doesn't have any Destiny heroes. This card would never have been ran anyway. This card would have never have been ran anyway because I mean you gain 100 attack, not even worth it. Um, these two would have really been it. And like I said, I mean this card pretty much you just revive the Poly or like a Miracle Fusion from Grave. That was its only like ever its only utility like ever was that. So, guys, I think we're even if this deck isn't going to be hyper competitive, this deck is going to be fun to resolve. Like you're resolving Pot of Greed. No one's did that since like 2005. Like unless you're playing retro formats, um, or you were just like playing with your friends. I'm pretty sure this card got banned. It might even have been banned before 2005. But now it is alive and well in 2025, damn near 20 years later. This card is alive and well in a rebirth, which Genesys pretty much means rebirth. This is a rebirth format. This is a new life for Yu-Gi-Oh. I think this is. I really dig this. Actually, after looking at it, I do think that again, I do think that the list needs some work. I think that some of the point values need to be edited. I think that some of the cards need to have their numbers changed because you can't play pure Glad, you can't play pure Ancient Gear, which makes no sense. That makes no sense. Those decks are no because they don't have their links. They don't even have their links. Their link monsters are like kind of what were the lifeblood of those decks, like Ancient Gear Ballista, Test Panther, the new Glad Link. Like those are the lifebloods of the deck. You take those away, the consistency pieces don't even matter at that point because they don't have that power level that they previously had. So, in my opinion, decks like that, and I'm just citing those two because I haven't really, like I said, I've looked at the list, but I haven't really like comprehended everything on it. Um, but like, man, this is I think going to be some fun, guys. So check this out. Give it a whirl if you want to play against friends. If you're a Cosmo Neos fan and you want to try this deck out, play it against a couple friends. I don't really know if there's any. I mean, obviously you could play this type of format on like dueling book, or you could even play this type of this format right now on Edo Pro. You just probably have to discuss with your opponent, hey man, I'm playing Genesys format, and I'm sure at some point they will probably, at some way, shape, or form, they will get that onto here, so that way like you could just click Genesys, 925 Genesys format, click it, load it, ready to play. I mean, I genuinely think this is going to be really cool. So, guys, Slifer Slacker out. Stay tuned for more because I am going to try to make a couple other deck lists using this format. But anyway, Slifer Slacker out.